Well, questions are swirling tonight after a man from North Texas died in police custody. Irving police officers conducted a traffic stop that ended with the death of Homer Cortez.
And his parents claim the 48-year-old was beaten to death. It happened near North Beltline Road and Cross Country Trail last month. As WFAA senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez reports, there are criminal and internal affairs investigations now underway.
Surveillance video from a gas station captured the moment Homer Cortez was pulled over by Irving police. It was February 23rd at 7:50 p.m. What happened next is what is under investigation. In a cell phone video shot by an eyewitness, you can hear Cortez screaming. His girlfriend was in the car and told his family what she alleged happened.
They threw him to the ground where she actually heard the loudest crack noise, which was his head. And she tried telling him stop and stop.
Irving police say Cortez was pulled over for not using a turn signal. According to a report sent to the Texas Attorney General's office, officers attempted to lawfully arrest Cortez, who resisted and engaged in a physical struggle with officers. The report goes on to say Cortez was taken to the ground, where it appeared he struck his head on the parking lot pavement. The Dallas County Medical Examiner has not ruled on the cause of Cortez's death. They're still waiting for toxicology reports. But his parents hired an independent medical examiner to look at his injuries.
He suffered a lot of trauma. It looks like, consistent with the injuries that the ME has stated he has, that he basically was beat to death.
According to the report, at the time of Cortez's death, he was handcuffed, his legs shackled, and they used a hobble leg restraint. That is a device sometimes used to hog-tie a victim's arms and legs together. A report done by the Irving Fire Department says that when they arrived, officers told them they had to tase the person, and 4 taser barbs were noticed lying on the ground.
Head trauma,
Broken ribs. The bone here in the throat was collapsed, which is usually consistent with some kind of a chokehold or something. Just doesn't fit. None of the pieces of the puzzle fit here.
According to the AG report, officers called paramedics to treat Cortez's injuries. In the gas station footage, you see an ambulance arrive 16 minutes after the initial stop. Cortez was transported to Parkland Hospital, where he died. His parents say they were frantically trying to call their son but couldn't find him. They said they weren't told about his death until 2 days later.
And I said, but this happened 2 days later. Why am I just finding out right now? I didn't understand that.
The Irving Police Department issued a statement saying, "We are conducting a thorough review of this incident and remain committed to being as transparent as possible without compromising the pending criminal and administrative investigation." Sources say the Irving Police Department is looking into several officers for the use of excessive force or failure to intervene. It is federal law that it is an officer's duty to intervene if they see another officer using excessive force. Cortez's parents say he was a father and a grandfather who was close to his family, the oldest son. They want the body camera footage released so the public can see what happened to him.
Even more so now that he's dead, I feel compelled to do whatever I can do to hold those guys accountable or justify what they did to my son.
In Irving, Rebecca Lopez.
Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from a woman involved in a traffic stop in Hurst that's gone viral. We first told you about the incident last week. Tanisha Thompson released cell phone video of a confrontation involving a Hurst police officer after a traffic stop in January. It escalated when the officer dropped a citation in her lap and she then threw it out the window. After it sparked backlash online, police released body cam video showing what led up to it. Today, Thompson read a prepared statement detailing what she's been through since then.
Since that day, I have lived in constant fear every time I see a police officer. I have faced cruel backlash for simply seeking accountability. But I am here today because this is bigger than me. This is about all of us.
Hurst PD says they did not find any wrongdoing in their own investigation. Thompson's attorney says they are investigating whether to pursue federal civil rights charges.
New leaders just laid out the urgent challenge facing Fort Worth ISD, citing the fact nearly 2/3 of students can't read at grade level. The The state just appointed this new board of managers along with the superintendent. As Adriana de Alba reports, they'll spend several years working to improve test scores the new superintendent called offensive.
Beginning today, Fort Worth ISD is now officially operating under full state control. It took months to learn who the new state leadership would be, but it didn't take them long to get started.
Today really is that next step.
A shift at Fort Worth ISD. New leadership announced amid a state takeover of the district.
It's an honor, but it's a responsibility.
That's Fort Worth ISD's new superintendent, Dr. Peter Licata, who will replace former superintendent Dr. Karen Molinar. The TEA announcing Licata to the role today, along with a new board of managers. A push to improve the struggling district after several of its campuses received F ratings repeatedly.
No more multi-year failing campuses.
Dr. Licata brings more than 30 years of experience to the job, most recently as a superintendent out of Florida, recognized for leading a large district to its first A rating in more than 14 years.
This is an opportunity for me to bring my skill set to a place that deserves the best.
Licata saying in a press conference today, children are the priority. The new board of managers, all from Fort Worth, including 2 Fort Worth ISD parents, many of them among the city's top leaders.
I'm hopeful that they will earn the community's trust.
Elected school board president Roxanne Martinez, who must now step away under the state takeover, says so far the TEA's process has lacked transparency.
Now more than ever, I always advocate for parents to be engaged, to be involved.
TEA Commissioner Mike Morath says he'll reassess the district's academic progress every 2 years before returning it to local control. Until then,
my role in the community doesn't change. I'm an advocate for students.
Martinez promises involvement. Meanwhile, tonight's school board meeting forced to cancel as new leadership steps in now.
It's going to be hard, but we'll do it.
Promising academic progress for the future. In Fort Worth, I'm Adriana de Alba.
Today's full news conference is streaming on demand right now. You can start watching WFAA Plus by downloading our free app to your TV.
The TEA is also taking over Lake Worth ISD, and the new district conservator just appointed a new acting superintendent. Trent Dowd will fill the role until the TEA appoints a new school leader. Dowd is currently the assistant superintendent of teaching and learning. He says Lake Worth ISD will remain steadfast in its mission and vision, keeping students at the center of every decision.
Dozens of people showed up tonight at Arlington City Hall pleading for ICE to release a man who's been detained for 5 months now. Tiffany Liu shows us what they want city council members to do.
Demand the release of Yaqub.
In Arlington, dozens fill the council chamber on behalf of one person who can't be here.
He's a DACA recipient with no criminal record.
Yaqub Ira Vihandre.
He's just very social, very friendly.
He is Omar.
We're in very close contact.
And Muhammad's friend.
Was always, trying to help folks anywhere he goes.
Yaqub is a 38-year-old DACA recipient, a freelance photojournalist and an activist in North Texas. In October, he was detained by ICE while leaving his home in Arlington. While the Department of Homeland Security says he overstayed his visa, the arrest came one day after Yaqub recorded a Richardson City Council meeting supporting a local community leader detained by ICE.
There's no coincidence. I'll just put it that way. It's targeted. It's a weaponization of the immigration system.
DHS says his social media was glorifying terrorism, and nearly 6 months later.
Very concerned. I speak with him. He has lost so much weight.
Yaqub is still in custody 1,000 miles away at the Folkestone ICE facility in Georgia.
Energy is low. He's looking pale, but I'll tell you what's keeping him strong is faith.
His supporters are reminding the Arlington City Council about their residents.
So I've approached some of the people who spoke today and said, come educate me more.
They're hoping Arlington will mirror Paterson, New Jersey, where a city council resolution urged DHS to release a detainee named Laca Cordia. She was freed from an Alvarado ICE facility last week.
I urge this council to pass a resolution calling for the immediate and unconditional release of Yaqub.
Yaqub's community is worried, but hopeful, trying any means to set him free.
So we're not only here standing up for Yaqub, we're standing up for every single person's freedom of speech.
In Arlington, I'm Tiffany Liu.
Senators say they could be close to reaching a deal to end the partial government shutdown. 2 Republican senators say they've submitted proposal to Democrats who are fighting against funding for immigration enforcement operations. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Democrats will be sending back a counteroffer. But President Trump said today he is unlikely to be happy about any deal on Homeland Security. And as that partial government shutdown stretches on, TSA staffing shortages are creating more chaos for air travel. Houston's Bush Intercontinental is warning of 4-hour security wait times tomorrow. The TSA only had enough personnel to staff screenings in 2 of the airport's 5 terminals today. ICE agents are now helping with crowd control at 14 airports across the country. DFW International and Love Field have not seen the high TSA worker call-outs like the Houston airports, so wait times here have been normal.
Tonight, investigators are taking a closer look at the deadly crash in New York. NTSB investigators are analyzing the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder right now. The jet was landing at LaGuardia Airport when it hit the truck, which had been cleared across the runway to respond to another emergency. But that truck didn't have a transponder, which could have triggered a warning. And the NTSB says 2 air traffic controllers in the tower were doing the work of 4. Listen to this audio captured right after the collision.
We were dealing with an emergency earlier. Nothing.
No, man, you did the best you could.
A flight attendant was ejected hundreds of feet from the plane, and both pilots were killed. Family members identified one of them as Antoine Forrest. That runway will remain closed until Friday.